on Outback Truckers.
First triple road train of the year.
Bo Vella takes on fire and flood in Australia's top end.
Another day in paradise.
Plastic's starting to unwind off this freight.
Steve Graham's quick run to Broom begins to unravel
Now this is going to be a hold-up.
as his schedule goes off the rails.
Got no choice but sit here and wait.
Yeah, 40 kilometres an hour. Bloody rough.
And Mark Pett's desert shortcut becomes a nightmare of diesel and dust.
That's quite a big split. We're going to lose a lot of fuel.
We've been waiting for a few months for the road to open. First road train of the year. Time to get cracking. We've had a long wet season, record-breaking wet. It's been a big one.
After the heaviest wet season in years, Bo Vella is preparing to be one of the first road trains into an area that's been cut off for months. Swollen rivers have flooded roads, wreaking havoc, starving communities of essential supplies.
You'll all good move that quickly, then we'll chuck them bulkers on.
With the wet season rains easing,
Got to come over a bit more.
it's time for 25-year-old trucker Bo to make his attempt.
We're in the yard at Humpty Doo. Time to go to Pigeonhole. Pigeonhole's a small remote outstation, Aboriginal community.
Population 141.
We're taking a triple road train, 3 trailers, with some plumbing materials to do a new water main down there for the community. The old water pipe there keeps breaking and giving them bad water supply. It's a big thing, water. Buggered without it.
Bo's employer is one of the biggest plumbing contractors in the Northern Territory.
What we specialise in is remote pipelines, sewer mains and all that. Remote work's our main speciality. It's just some of the gear we've got to take down. Pipe work, some concrete lids, fittings, geotextile, compactor, a little bit of everything, eh? Check the list off, chuck my bedding, clothes in the truck, and the fishing rod. You never know what you'll catch.
Residents of the Pigeonhole community, like Nathaniel Murrell, are eagerly awaiting Bo's arrival.
Sometimes we have a problem at the house. Water blocked and water leak. A bit wild since the wet. We're always waiting for the company to come down to fix that water main. Yeah, but still waiting. Yeah.
Now, the river levels that have isolated the community for 4 months have dropped.
We've got to cross the Victoria River. It's been up to 3 or 4 metres high with the floods and that, so it's down to the crossable height now. As long as we get no rain, we'll be fine to get in there.
From Darwin, Bo will drive south, doing a pickup at Katherine before crossing the Victoria River to reach Pigeonhole, over 700 kilometres away.
We've got a bit of a window in the weather that the river's dropped down. Hopefully it's not coming up again, but you never know. Unpredictable wet season it's been. Fingers crossed it's all good. Oh, we're rolling. We're off. We're getting moving. So yeah, it's good. Finally happening. First triple road train of the year. Got a bit of a time pressure to get out there and get it done. Don't know what that river's doing. A couple of weeks ago it was 500 mil deep, but just keep getting a bit of rain, it still might be fairly deep. Talk about rain, we're getting a few drops on the windscreen now. Uh-oh, here comes the rain.
I've had one of my best customers, Crisper, rung me, and it's an urgent job. It's just come out of the woodwork, got a hot shot, got to go to Broom.
Steve Graham's just landed a hot shot, a small load with a strict deadline that can't be changed.
Now there's my load, and that doesn't look good. It's wider than what it should be.
This time it's 12 tonnes of fencing materials.
I'll just back up to it. Young Harry, who's working with me at the moment, will measure this bloody thing and see what we got to deal with. I'm a bit frustrated by it. The people that supplied this product were aware that it shouldn't be any wider than 2,500, 2.5 metres. It's definitely wider than 2,500. I've just got to see if it's too wide, and I can't travel at night either.
Under load restrictions, Steve can't travel at night if the cargo is wider than 2.7 metres. If it is, he'll have no hope of making his delivery deadline in 4 days.
Just go to the outside edge of the square thing at the bottom, please, mate. Well, that's 2,600, Harry. I can travel at night and I'm not obliged to curfew.
Steve's dodged a bullet, but at 2.6 metres wide, the load is still oversized.
It's only just that little bit oversized, but you still got to wear the signs and have all the paraphernalia, or you will be in trouble.
From Perth, Steve has to haul the fencing materials 2,200 kilometres to Broom, more than twice the length of mainland Britain.
Harry, come back here. What didn't you notice here, buddy?
What didn't I
There's a
notice?
screw in the tyre.
Oh, shit.
Just go around and nip the other ones up. Haven't even got out the gate and I've got a puncture, but I should be able to plug that pretty easily. Crying out loud. Quick little hot shot. Chuck it on and go. It's been nothing but trouble since the start. Righto, I'm finally ready to go. Had a few little hiccups already. It's just such a silly little thing, and I can see that the product inside the frame is in gauge. It's within 2.5 metres. But they've made the frame in such a way that the frame is out of gauge and it's 2.6 metres. It's oversized enough that I can't tow a third trailer behind it. The more trailers I tow, the less it costs the customer. Bugger all profit in a double. If I want to make money out of a trip, I need a triple. So what we're doing now is we're going over to the road train terminal where the other trailer, I've already dropped it off. We'll put the two together and that will be my double road train. Under normal circumstances, I should have been hooked up at midday. It's now 4 o'clock. Right, we'll go and see what the traffic's like. Hate the thought that I think I'm going out in peak hour traffic. Broom's 2,200 kilometres from Perth. It's all bitumen, but there will be some water laying around here and there. And here we are, we've hit the gridlock. Well, this is what you get when you leave at 5:15 on a weeknight with a road train. And let me tell you, road trains aren't built for traffic jams. Road trains are built for the bush. They don't like traffic jams. Why in God's name does this happen? So the whole day's just gone backwards, really. Dirty from the trip. Just wash all the bugs off the windscreen. Well, I've come from New South Wales. I've had 4 full days of travelling to get here. We've still got about another 2 days to go.
Mark Pett has already driven over 3,500 kilometres to reach the remote Earldunda Roadhouse at Gan.
6 double cattle grids on board, concrete base slabs, and everything's nice and tight, nothing's moved. This is how you do bush mechanics out in the bush. Hey, I should have been a mechanic.
From Gan, Mark's gambling on a 2-day shortcut of dirt driving across the Great Central Road to Melrose Station in the centre of Western Australia, 1,582 kilometres away.
We're doing this way because it saves me going all the way up the top of Australia to Katherine, across the top of WA and then down again. I've never done this road before. Hopefully we don't have any dramas.
He's making the most of smooth bitumen on the 270-kilometre drive out to the famous landmark of Uluru.
Yeah, that's the first look of the big red rock in the middle of the desert. Never ever been out here before. Quite spectacular. We don't often come out here, so she's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Get a better shot up here. Bring my own platform. That's pretty impressive.
With the sightseeing over, ahead the dirt begins, and it's got Mark worried with the fragile cattle grids he's carrying.
You get a little bit nervous when you're travelling on a new road. You don't know what corners, what the road's like. The main thing's worried about breaking this concrete up.
The cattle grid's marks hauling are used to prevent livestock from crossing boundaries, but easily allow motor vehicles to pass over them. But the concrete grid bases are brittle, prone to stress damage.
We don't want to be cracking the concrete because the road's rough, so we're going to have to really take our time and just drive to the conditions. The gravel, slow down a bit. We've got a fair bit of corrugations here at the moment. Sitting on 50 kilometres an hour now, not 90. We're trying to sneak up the side of the road here as much as we can to get off the corrugations because it's pretty rough. Oh, it's a bit rough now. Down to 40 kilometres an hour. Bloody rough.
Vehicles on this stretch of road are few and far between. But this passing motorist is trying to get Mark's attention.
Hey, mate,
What is it?
you're losing fuel.
Oh, yeah. Leaking. I've split the fuel tank.
So yeah, we just left the yard, heading down the highway. We've had a couple of raindrops already hit the windscreen. Hopefully, we're not getting any weather down there on that Pigeonhole Road because that river's going to come up and be impassable for us in the truck.
Beau Vella's window of opportunity to get into the remote community of Pigeonhole could be closing.
Two options if it's impassable. We either wait for it to go down or we spend a half a day turning the whole truck around and go back home.
Beau's urgent load of plumbing supplies and machinery could be delayed for weeks.
Rolling into Catherine now, and we just got to bloody keep going by ourselves and load up this backhoe because it's going to be getting used out of Pigeonhole to put the new water main in. We had no spare ones in Darwin, so we've had to pinch one from Catherine for a week. Pushing for room, but we'll get it. Tight fit! Can I get much better than that? Good way to finish a day. Beautiful.
Next day, threatening rain clouds have disappeared, but Beau has just got word that workers are flying into Pigeonhole today.
Yeah, that's it. The other plumbers, they're all coming down on the plane, so they'll be expecting me down there this afternoon. So I want to keep rolling and get there as soon as we can. If they get there before me, they'll be sitting there waiting and they'll have nothing to do because I've got all the gear on board here. One of those tyres on that middle trailer is bellowing over. Looks like it's got bugger all bloody air in it. Hopefully it's not a flat. Not first thing in the morning anyway. Have a go at that. Hard. Flat.
I just don't know why we stopped. but 10,000 other people are asking themselves the same question.
Steve Graham's urgent 2,200-kilometre run to Broom is almost at a standstill.
Oh, I'd like to think most of the pain is nearly over. They seem to be stretching out a bit up there.
He's stuck in peak hour traffic at the beginning of his hotshot job.
They've built a beautiful 3-lane road and then just squeezed it into 2, and it all went to shit. And then just like that, it opens up. 10 minutes ago, I was in a traffic jam, and now feels like I'm out on the open road. It should be a good run, touch wood, but I can't believe it. I've hardly got out of town and I'm in the rain. I certainly expected this, but not this far south. Driving on the edge of what could be a bit of a storm. Anyway, we'll get what we get. I won't cover many Ks tonight. It's been a big day, all this loading and running around. You know, a good hard day's work. It won't be a big night tonight. I'm going to pull up here shortly. This gives me 260 Ks into the job. Broom's 2,200 Ks. That gives me 2 1,000-kilometre days, and I'm there if I don't have any problems.
At the end of a long day, it's time for Steve to fire up his roadside diner.
This is what they call the Roadkill Cafe. Well, I actually got it from the butcher shop. I didn't scrounge it off the road. But there has been times when we won't go into that. That's it. A couple of beers and a good feed. Bed for me. Get into it tomorrow.
Hey, mate. We're losing fuel. Oh, yeah, shit.
In the hostile Red Centre, 165 kilometres from the nearest fuel stop, the rough road has taken its toll on Mark Pett's truck.
We're going to try a bit of soap. Normally soap will clog up a split in a fuel tank, so lucky I'm a clean sort of a bloke and carry some spare soap. But we'll see how we go. It gets into the crack and then the soap swells from the diesel and stops it from leaking. It's only a temporary fix, but we'll see how long that lasts.
Mark fears the Great Central Road could come back to bite him.
Yeah, we're going to lose a lot of fuel by the looks of that if we don't keep on top of that. That's quite a big split. There's not much I can do. I've got no siphon hose to siphon it into the other tank. I've got 2 cakes of soap left anyway, so we'll just keep an eye on that and just keep checking it. That's all we can do. We'll see how we go. There'll be at least 500 litres of fuel left in that tank. It's still flexing from the corrugation. You can run out of fuel quite easy. The split could open right up, bang, and just all that fuel gush out all over the road. This road is shocking. We just got to keep going.
Almost a quarter of the way into a 1,580-kilometre trip, Mark is starting to have doubts about his choice of a shortcut.
She might be a slow trip. It should potentially save us about 2 days travelling. But it won't save us 2 days travelling if we've got to sit on 25 kilometres an hour for the next bloody 2 days. It'll take us 4 days.
Hopefully this is going to be the last one I'm changing, but you never know.
A badly timed flat tyre is putting Bo Vella under pressure.
We may be a little bit late.
He's got news that workers are flying into the remote community of Pigeonhole today and urgently need his freight to repair a broken water main.
They'll be expecting to see me out there. So, I want to get this tyre changed quick as we can and keep moving. The road could be pretty rough going into Pigeonhole. 50 kilometres of dirt, but we don't know how bad that's going to be. We'll find out when we get down there. Pretty bloody good. Happy with that. Time to keep moving. Let's go. All right, we're out of Catherine. Take 2, second time. So we're going to go down the Victoria Highway now. It's wild remote country out here, eh?
Bo is one of the first triple road trains down here since the road reopened.
We don't know what we've got coming up ahead. Another day in paradise. All right, down the Buntine Highway now. We've got about 280k of this single lane bitumen. You've got to keep an eye on it when you've got 3 trailers, 50 metres long. We've only got probably 50 mil each side when the trailer sways around. It's bumpy as, a whole bit of highway this. We're starting to get down to the desert country now. It's drying out a bit down here. Some areas have already had fires. Here we go, look, we've got flames up against the side of the bitumen here. Have a go at this. That there, get a bit of wind behind it and it starts blazing, that's what we don't want. Something like that blazing up against our trailer, especially if we've got a bit of oil, a bit of something on the deck and it sparks up on one of the timber pallets or something, then we're all over Red Rover.
I was just listening to the weather. They're forecasting 39 degrees up the road up here.
After a frustrating first day on his urgent run to Broom, Steve Graham now needs to cover a massive 1,000 kilometres today to get back on schedule. But there's a problem.
The plastic's starting to unwind off this freight, and that so often it happens. You just go out on the road and the plastic will start to tear itself off. Nearly every time when you say to someone about what they need to do to stabilise their plastic, they just look at you and say, mate, I've been doing this for years, I know what I'm doing. All you can do is just shrug your shoulders. So we'll pull up and tidy up those loose ends. All right, see what's going on. That's all we can do, keep tying them off as we go up the road. It's all good. Well, I'm coming up to the Nanine mine now. It's all good gold country, this. And I'm just catching up with these wide loads that are in front of me.
204.8, mate.
They will talk me around when we get a chance.
Yeah, 4 metres, yeah, copy that.
Right, we've all got to slow down now. I'll just sit back here and watch the fun. We've got oversized coming at oversized. These bulldozers weigh well over 100 tonnes each. They're big solid chunks of steel. These blokes don't want to be clipping each other.
Keep it on there, buddy, I'll pull on.
All right, Harry. We good to go around the bulldozers now?
Yeah, mate.
Righto. On your back door now, mate. No worries, mate. You have a good day. The job's done. It's all about all of us just moving down the road. While we're moving down the road, we're making a quid.
Steve's on the longest highway in Australia, the Great Northern. All 3,200 asphalted kilometres of it. It's the busiest highway in the Outback.
Yeah, one of the advantages of being light, you do get to go around people. So there are some pluses, but they're only fun pluses. They're not major money pluses. Well, we're going all right. It's about 12:30 and we've got about 500 k's to go to Newman. So I'll get up just north of Newman a bit somewhere tonight. Yeah, I'll get very close to 1,000 k's in. It should be good enough. The further north I get, the more tropical it becomes. I'm well and truly into Murchison now. Starting to see a lot of water on the side of the road. And I've got rain out to the east, and I saw a bit of rain up to the north before. You got to be really careful. You don't know how wet the country is right on the edge of the road or underneath it. And you do see tracks from time to time where people have dropped a wheel to let the big one pass, and then the mud's and out they've gone out to the paddock, and makes my hair go curly thinking about it. Now we've got a seriously big oversized. This bloke's 8 metres, and I've got to get right off the road for him. There's a bit of a drop-off here on this bloody shoulder, and you've got to really worry about how wet it is out here when it's like this. You don't want to get too far out.
Thanks, mate.
No worries, mate. We were in a good spot there. I'm in the Pilbara now. It's a whole different landscape. And right now it's very green and looking good because it's had a big mob of rain since December. So put in another hour or so, another 100 k's tonight, and shut it down. It's always a bad time of the day, especially when there's lots of green feed on the side of the road. We've got cattle wandering around. They feed on the side of the road, then they cross over in front of you. Hitting a cow at high speed costs you 30, 40, hundreds of thousands of dollars, so it can be a real worry. You know, you'd think in 2021 that these roads should be fenced. This is the Great Northern Highway. To be driving through here, running over half-feral cattle is ridiculous, I believe, in 2021. I just had another oversized come at me, and I just saw it at the last minute. He was like me, he was only just legal to travel at night, but it frightens you when you pass them on a bridge. Right, well that's it. I've had enough for today. It's getting a bit too hard out there. There's bumper-to-bumper traffic and cattle on the road. I don't need to be there in that much of a hurry.
Bloody rough.
Mark Pett is nursing a split fuel tank and a load of cattle grids across a brutal dirt highway.
I'd rather be a day late than turn up with a base slab snapped in half. It could delay the whole job. Oh, split again.
Mark's fuel tank is leaking again.
Soap on it. That's what you get for watching MacGyver when you were a kid. What we're going to do now, we're driving on the wrong side of the road. We're trying to drive on a bank so we can get all the fuel over to the left-hand side tank to minimise the wastage coming out of the crack tank. Basically use it up and then shut the tank off. That's all we can do. The joys of driving in the Outback. Here we are, here's the border. Welcome to Western Australia. So, it's been a big day. Hopefully we'll get the job finished without any more dramas.
With a patched up fuel tank, Mark's still got over 1,000 kilometres to go to get to his destination at Melrose Station.
A little bit riskier overnight. Cows and camels tend to be a bit more active overnight because it's a lot cooler.
We've got a fire burning right up against the side of the highway here. We've got a few machines and that, and fuel on back. We don't want any hot embers falling in there and catching us on fire. We're about to punch through right now. Just keep going through. Keep it on the other side of the road. A bit scary having fire. And we're right. Bit of fun, eh? A bit of fun now and then, eh? Liven it up a bit.
After battling the roadside fires, Bo Vella is now closing in on the remote community of Pigeonhole.
Here we are, start of the dirt road, Pigeonhole turn-off.
Bo has 50 kilometres of this uncharted dirt track ahead of him, with no way of knowing its condition after the wet season.
We don't know what we've got coming up ahead. It's not a gazetted road, so it doesn't get reporting all the time. Let's just hope this dirt road's in pretty good condition and it hasn't got any wet spots. We'll see how we go. 1K down, 49 to go. A few rocks here. They're what you call tyre killers. Oh. Gotta make sure we watch these mirrors. Don't want anything flying off.
Bo's freight is urgently needed to repair Pigeonhole's water supply. With workers arriving today, he can't afford to be late.
Yeah, the guys will be flying in very soon, so let's hope we have no delays and dramas on this road and we'll get in there all good. We've got the Vic River. It's our main big crossing we've got, which is not far up.
At 510 kilometres, the Victoria River is the biggest in the top end.
Hopefully, it's dry. Actually, oh, she is flowing. Flowing very nicely.
Well, here we go. I'm into it for today and I'm in the Pilbara and the scenery just gets better as you go, really. It's a good day at the office. I mean, there's my screen. It ain't flickering. It's all good scenery.
With a small load on a tight deadline, it's day 3 of Steve's 2,200 kilometre run to Broom.
From Newman to Port Hedland, you're getting into a whole great big industrial sector. There's a much, much bigger volume of traffic and also a big bunch of the traffic is big weight traffic, heavy stuff.
This is mining country. And in the Pilbara region, the mining is big. This 53.5 metre long quad is transporting iron ore to port.
These slower blokes just in front of us now, they're carrying iron ore. See, there's more cattle on the road here now. So everyone's slowed down again by a cow crossing the road. It's just laughable. And yet we've got millions and millions of dollars worth of transport vehicles in front of us. This is holding me up with my plan. You know, I am running a hot shot. Unfortunately, I'm going backwards right now. It's all going backwards a bit. My plan for being out of Hedland by midday.
Steve has lost a huge amount of time and will need a clear run from here onwards if he's to make his delivery deadline.
Now this is going to be a hold-up. Got no choice but sit here and wait.
This massive 275 wagon mining train is 3 kilometres long and has almost 30,000 tonnes of iron ore on board.
These trains are so long and so heavy, they have 4 locomotives, and I've been told the reason they have the 2 big locos in the middle is because the train's so long, when it comes to a bend in the railway line, they've got all that huge horsepower up the front, they'd literally pull the train straight, they'd pull it off its tracks. So what they do is they have the 2 enormous locomotives in the middle, so that as they're going around a curve in the railway line, the 2 at the front and the other 2 are keeping it all around the curve on the track. I don't know whether they learnt that because they lost a couple or they just worked it out. Anyway. Well, I think the end's in sight. Yeah, it's an amazing big hive of activity, this whole Pilbara. Well, we're officially in the Kimberley now, and here we are going to Broom, and it's Outback trucking how I like it. Well, that's the end of a good day. I'm nearly in Broom, so it's pretty good. This load wasn't even on my radar last Thursday, and here we are, less than a week later, and the job's just about under my belt. I should be right on time, within a couple of minutes, and I always like that. If I tell someone I'm going to be somewhere, I like to be there then. How are you?
Good, mate. She looks good on the back.
Yeah, like a mad woman's hairdo, I reckon, mate. We'll see you down at the yard. That's the managing director of the company that owns the freight. Of all people to have come up behind the road train with all that plastic blowing in the breeze, I really needed Rob to be the last person. Anyway, I don't package the stuff. Righto, Mark, down you go. When I said, look, I'm not too sure about this packaging, maybe it needs taping. He said in a nice, polite way, look, we've been doing this for a long, long time. You don't need to tell us how to wrap this stuff. Well, that's that. That loads off. That's one good thing about hot shots is they want them there in a hurry, then they unload them in a hurry. And it's good to get rid of this bloody sign too. So I'm going to tidy up my truck, tidy myself up, and go home. That's Outback trucking.
Jesus. It was close. Look at him. They don't like moving. That's why you got to have good spotlights at a night. So you can see them big bastards coming at you. Trying to pull up over 100 tonne and they're hanging around on the road. Pain in the backside, they give the heart a little bit of a start. Plenty of camel burgers in them lot, I tell you. New day, and hopefully we don't have as many dramas as yesterday.
Mark Pett's shortcut is getting longer.
The old Great Central Road. It's a road that cuts across the middle of Australia, but yeah, there's nothing great about it.
The state of the road has already caused a dangerous fuel leak, slowing his cross-continental slog.
It's stopped leaking now, so we're down below the crack, but I'm going to use up all the fuel that's in that tank as much as I can, turn the tank off, and then just use one tank to do the rest of the trip. You've got to keep the wheels moving.
With 110 tonnes of truck and load, Mark now faces an extra hurdle.
They've had a bit of a storm here over the last couple of days, so we're getting a few more puddles on the road. Just have to get that little bit of momentum through them to pull the trailers through them.
Heavy downpours have brought the desert to life. In Australia's outback, although the trucks account for their fair share of animals killed, the apex predator is the dingo, killing sheep and small animals like lizards and rabbits. They have been known to also occasionally attack people. Finally, after an epic haul across Australia, and over 5,000 kilometres later,
Mission accomplished. Well, nearly anyway.
Mark has reached his drop-off point.
Yeah, well, we ordered only a couple of weeks ago and it's only sort of taken a week to get here and it's been fantastic, you know. It's good they've turned up and, yeah, we're looking forward to getting them in.
Using his crane, Mark unloads the cattle grids.
There we go. That's 3 tonne grid. This crane can lift about 10 tonne, so it can lift a fair bit. Straighten him up. There. Hey, lucky last. Just another day at the office. Couldn't be any happier.
Oh, she is flowing.
Bo Vella's 90-tonne triple road train is taking on the swollen Victoria River.
Yeah, it looks nice, doesn't it? Plenty of crocs around here.
He's the first trucker to attempt a crossing since the wet season rains eased.
Well, it's about half a metre deep here. Keep over this way, otherwise these trailers are going to hit these trees, pull them out. Don't want to cut off on those big rocks. Well, I wasn't expecting water in there, but there you go. She's flowing. I reckon if we had an inch of rain last night, that probably would have been a fair bit deeper. So we're lucky we had no rain. Not out yet, we've got to get this little jump up here. We've got some narrow trout here now, 50 metres long, coming off an S-bend. Ain't really the best. Look at these mongrel rocks. I'm on old L. And I can't stop moving. If I lose momentum, we're not going to get up. Grab another gear quickly. Up we go. She's working. Just at the top of that little climb out of the Victoria River now. Happy days. Here we are. Pigeon Pearl Station. We made it. That's us. Let's go check the load. It's in good condition. Hasn't moved around too much. It's all good and well. It's time to unload.
Bo has made it on time, ahead of the construction team who fly in today.
All by myself to unload it all, unfortunately. I can hear something. I can hear something. Here we go. Here they come. Look at that. No more unloading by myself. Happy days. Come help me, you bastards. It's all come together. I beat them here. Not by much, though. Perfect timing, if you ask me. That's what you call a finish to season 9 of Outback Truckers.